Hello everybody, and welcome back to another X and Y Wi-Fi battle. I'm versus my boy Jack here from Team Aqua. We are part of the tournament here that we're holding in this page, so it's very fun, very fun. I got to round 3. I lost to my boy Rashad. He completely outplayed me and destroyed me, and I don't really want to upload that because it was kind of a typical normal battle, but it wasn't very interesting enough to upload even if I lost. So. Well, let's jump into the team preview. My team's still the same. I changed up one Pokemon, which was Garchomp, switched him out for Dragonite, because I wanted to try out Weakness Policy Dragonite. But he doesn't really get a chance to shine this battle, but whatever. Looking at Jack's team, I see a bunch of bulky walls here, Florges, Trevenant, Slowbro. I have to break that core in order to win, so we're going to jump right into this battle here, and we're going to see how well I actually end up doing against Jack. So, but I think it's a very, very beautifully done battle, and I don't know, I had so much fun with it, and I wish I had more battles like this to actually upload. So, starting off here, he's got Mamoswine, and I'm going to set out my Boo Keys, Keyblade Isha, powerful, all-knowing, little prankster, aka Klefki. But, you know, so I wanted to use Substitute just to see what kind of move he would go for. Either I got a free sub up, or if I would have gotten a free spikes, but he goes straight for the Earthquake, playing very offensively. I also wanted to check to see if he was either Focus Sash or Life Orb lead, but he is going to be a Focus Sash lead. So I figured, hey, if I got at least one layer of spikes, I can do a good residual thing if I force a lot of switches, which is what I'm going to be doing right now. So I'm going to send out Scizor, and I'm going to make him fear that Bullet Punch, even though he has a Focus Sash. So, fearing him out, I'm going to go straight for that U-turn, predicting that switch. He's going to bring an Arcanine right away to get the Intimidate drop in case I went for Bullet Punch, and just for him to kind of check my Scizor. I obviously am not going to keep this guy in, so I'm going to go for a U-turn. I am banded, so after that Intimidate drop, I'm basically at neutral attack, and it does like a hefty 25%. Like, that's pretty good after an Intimidate drop on a Scizor, so I'm going to go straight into Dragonite because I know I'm going to threaten him out, and I've got that multi-skill up, and he doesn't have rocks, so it's good for me. I'm going to get kind of greedy now and go right for the Dragon Dance, but I kind of forgot that he had Slowbro in, and I know Slowbros can Scald or T-Wave, and obviously it wasn't going to stay in on this just yet, but Dragonite is going to play a very, very vital role in the late game. Not to spoil anything, of course, but I do like Dragonite. I just haven't seen much use of him. Like, even in 5th gen, I still haven't really used a multi-skill Dragonite. I just didn't find him that very good to me. I don't know, it might just be me, but predicting anything like status as far as T-Wave, I want to go straight to Vaporeon, because if he goes for a water attack, aka Scald right there, he's trying to burn me, trying to fish for burns, or just throw out like a T-Wave to try to paralyze me. I'm not going to really mind that because on Vaporeon I'm going to be slow anyways, so I'm going to go straight for the Toxic, predicting any switch. I was hoping to go out to Florges, but he does go to Trevenant, a really good check for Vaporeons in 6th gen because of Harvest, Natural Cure, but just harvesting that Lumberry, and as you saw in that case, definitely plays a vital role. So I went for Protect here just to scout what he's going for, and he's going for Will-O-Wisps. I was like, well, if anything wants to be burned, I want it to be Greninja because he's a special attacker. More than he is any physical attacker. He is naive, and I do have a little bit of attack investment to kind of maximize the power of my U-turns. But I really don't use U-turns that often, so I should have went for the U-turn here, just predicting a switch, because I knew I was going to be forcing him out, and I wanted a double switch right into Scizor. Just wanted to do that. Oh, I do go for that. Never mind. I guess it's... Never mind, I'm not paying attention to my battle, I guess. But I see how he's going to bring out Florges, so I figured... Yep, so I'm going to switch out... Just going to switch out right back into my Scizor, because Scizor just destroy Florges like 10 times over with a Bullet Punch. And even if he wants to stay in a Protect, that's fine, because I'm just going to go for the U-turn anyways. And if he stayed in, a banded U-turn was going to do a lot of damage to Florges, regardless of whether or not he resists that. He brings out Arcanine again, and again, I'm going for U-turn, so I'm just going to get a good momentum. I'm getting great momentum for myself right now. And his Arcanine hasn't done a single thing yet. He is very, very low on health. And I still have those entry hazards up, which are racking up, as you can tell. They're racking up the damage. You know, bringing in the Dragonite just to check it, because I have multi-scale, plus Arcanine cannot do shit to me, even like wild charges and stuff. So bring in Dragonite. I want to go for Earthquakes because I was like, oh, I'm going to do a little bit of damage to the Slowbro. I want to test out its spread, and it is a max HP, max defense Slowbro, what it looks like to me. But after I got a good chip damage off, I figured, hey, I can go back into Vaporeon. Even if any other attack he has, even if it's like Psyshock or anything, it won't do a lot of damage to me. And he predicts that very nicely, goes straight out to Trevenant. And really, I don't know what he wants to do, if he wants to Leech Seed or not. So I'm going to protect again, just to scout, because obviously predicting any sort of move, I don't want to get myself into a bad situation. So he's going straight for Horn Leech, and I figured, hey, maybe if I go right out to Greninja, I can just fodder him off, even though it's kind of a dumb play of me. I really wanted to bring in Scizor, but he kind of predicted me going out for the Scissor Switch, which was very good on his part, but bad misplay on his part because I brought in Greninja instead of Scizor. So we're just coming right back out. You know, Life Orb and Burn is really starting to rack up on me. I figured I'd go for a Dark Pulse just in case you want to predict, but he does still go for the obvious play, kind of good prediction and safe play on his part into Florges. Which is a bad part on my part because I really didn't want him to get like any wishes up or anything. So now that I'm about 50% left on my Greninja, I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of just bring in my Excadrill kind of as a good way to either take a Moonblast or just, kind of a little bit glitchy right now, or just a kind of a good way to check him as far as threatening him with another Steel type. But what he doesn't know is that I do not carry Iron Head, so I should kind of carry Iron Head. That'd be kind of nice. But he got that Wish off, which is very unfortunate. It's not really going to matter since the Slowbro has Regenerator, so it wasn't like the best idea. I think he should have brought in something else that could either set up or start sweeping. But see, if I would have came in and got like a Swords Dance up on that Excadrill, Slowbro probably, I could have swept the rest of his team just with Excadrill alone, to be honest with you. But again, since I don't have Swords Dance and I don't run an offensive set on that, I'm just going to switch out, go straight to Vaporeon because I want to keep my Air Balloon intact. And I feel like Excadrill could have some use later. But as you can see, that Psychic didn't do shit, and I really want to poison the Slowbro, but he knows Jack is just he's so on top of things right now, and he just knows that I'm gonna go straight for that Toxic, or even a Scald just to get a burn. But I'm gonna go straight to that Toxic, and I know he has that Lumberry, so again, it's just, to me, it's just residual damage on Trevenant. The more I weaken this Trevenant, the better. And you know, having that Harvest and having that Lumberry just really puts him in such a good spot. You know, just such a good defensive Pokemon, even though it's kind of frail. Now I'm gonna be very, very risky here and just predict that he's gonna go for a Will-O-Wisp or Horn Leech. He goes straight for the rest, and see, I didn't see that coming, but I just threw him out there as fodder again, just because I could bring in my Scizor very, very nicely, because Scizor's naturally outspeed Trevenant, just I think by like 9 or 10 base points, which is very nice. I really want to bring in that Scizor, because again, Scizor is going to be my very, very, probably MVP of this entire match, as you'll see. So I kind of predict him to go for a Horn Leech, or just predict him to switch out, knowing that I threaten him. And he does bring out Florges, and I did a very, very good play right there, just going for that double switch. Didn't want to play any games anymore. I really want to play kind of more offensively, because he knows that a Bullet Punch will take him out. And I go straight for the U-turn again, predicting him to switch out, because I know he wants to preserve that Florges for Wish passing to a lot of his bulkier Pokemon. And again, Arcanine comes in as Death Fodder, kind of gives him momentum, and it kind of gives me momentum. At the same time, momentum for me because I could switch into something that he cannot fight off, and also gives him momentum because I have to bring something in first before he brings something in. So, knowing that, taking that to, you know, using my knowledge on that, I just bring Vaporeon in because it's kind of a good middle ground. Nothing can really fight with his wall breaking / stalling capabilities. I say wall breaking because, you know, a lot of walls just don't want to fight Vaporeon because of the toxic and protecting and wishing. So I'm going to go for that protect because I'm going to see whether or not he wants to Will-O-Wisp, if he wants to Leech Seed, or if he wants to Horn Leech, as you saw there. I'm going to go for a very, very risky play here. Knowing that he's going to go for Horn Leech, I think I'm going to throw back in Greninja just to Death Fodder it. But I actually go back into Scizor, predicting that Horn Leech. Okay, since I know I outspeed him naturally by 9 base speed, and I'm not sure if he runs speed EVs on his Trevenant. I mean, he saw the Harvest, so I think he's more defensive spread. But I'm going to go for a Thief because I want him to stay in. And I thought he was going to go for Will-O-Wisp, but he doesn't, which is beautiful. And I go for that Thief, and that Bandit Thief takes Trevenant out straight up, just one hit KO after spikes damage, after one layer of spikes, which was amazing. Mamoswine comes in, and I was like, well, I kind of got Trevenant out of the way, so I really do not need my Greninja at this point, which was, I was just keeping Greninja around just to get rid of Trevenant because I outspeed and he cannot take a Dark Pulse, a Life Orb Dark Pulse at all, so I kept him around. But he goes for the Stealth Rock, which is very, very good play. You wanted to kind of get some mid-game, late-game rocks up, and I just kept him in for fodder. I figured he'd Ice Shard or just overpredict, so I think I went for the Surf, whatever, just predicting him to stay in or going for an Icicle Crash or something instead. But I bring in my Vaporeon just to kind of threaten him out. I know he's gonna bring in Florges or another wall, so I figured now that I got Trevenant out of the way, I'm free to just shoot off any Toxics I want. You know, every Pokemon on his team will not appreciate Toxic whatsoever. And now that Florges is on a clock, I can start doing a lot more offensive plays, and I can start doing a lot of damage. So I figured this is a good opportune moment to kind of get a wish up and heal up my Scizor, because Scizor is going to be a very, very, again, as I said, a very vital player in this team. The momentum I can gain and all the damage that I can do, pretty valuable. So I'm gonna take this time now to go for that wish and just kind of get the HP back on a lot of Pokemon. He does poison my Vaporeon, which does put Vaporeon on clock as well. But at this point in time, it's the level 1 toxic damage versus his level 2. I'm gonna be able to outstall him at this point, if anything. And I could just like keep wishing myself back up to full, but I figured that Vaporeon at this point is not gonna be as useful as anything else. So seeing Heliolisk come in, I'm thinking about this because yeah, I could have just went straight out to Excadrill and spun those rocks away, which would have been good. Which would have been a good play, which at that point, but I didn't really care. But as long as I pass that wish off, then I know I'm in a really good spot. I know that Heliolisk are kind of frail, but I wanted to test the damage of Bullet Punch, and it did a good like 55-60%, which was good. But he had that crit on that Volt Switch, and it really annoyed me. So I really want to, like I said, I want to keep Scizor alive, especially with rocks on the field, and there's no other way of recovery. Like, I don't have Roost, I'm banded, so I can't just like use Roost as freely as I would like to. I know he predicted me to go out to Vaporeon, but again, Vaporeon is the only thing I really have past those wishes and to do a considerable amount of damage to Slowbro would be against Scizor. A good way to kind of just take those Psychics and stuff. It was kind of an obvious play, but I knew he wouldn't go for Scald because he didn't want to risk healing me at that point, because I know I'm toxic and having those water absorbs would really keep me alive. But knowing he's going to switch out, I'm going to go straight for another wish. I think I went for a Toxic here just to see if he'd stay in and do another Psychic, but whatever. It's really whatever at this point to me. Again, I just want to do as much residual damage as possible to all of his Pokemon. I don't care if he wants to keep Florges in. I don't care if he wants to use Wish to pass over to, like, I really don't care at this point. I know I'm in a very good spot, and the only thing to keep myself in this spot is just to stay defensive, keep wishing, doing all that fun shenanigans, keep myself healthy, keep myself, you know, pretty much just 95% or higher, especially on Scizor, because I want to keep him alive to sweep the rest of his team at this point, which is what I kind of plan on doing, more or less. But so Toxic's racking up. Vaporeon's very, very, very weak. I figured what I could do at this point is just set that wish up would be the best play for me, which I did. Take the rock's damage, see if he wants to go for a Moonblast, because I know I resist them. But he actually goes for the aromatherapy. See, I did a very risky play right there, because if he went for Moonblast, more than likely he could have taken me out at that point, even though I resist it. But he went for aromatherapy instead, which puts me in a hell of a good position. You know, even after a couple rock switch-ins, I can just do that. He's gonna go for Wish, which was a questionable play on my part, because see, if I went for Bullet Punch instead, or even just U-turning instead, I could have just... Knocking out his floor just means that he doesn't get the Wish passed over. Not sure if he knew that or not. But again, I do not want that floor just alive. I want to keep anything alive, you know, in my favor, just keep myself in the favor. So, I figured that would be a good time to go to Vaporeon just as Rock's fodder, only because I can switch back out into my Scizor as I want to, as I'd like to do, and do a lot of damage. So I figured now is a good time. Even after rocks, I just want to start doing a lot of damage. Residual damage, I am faster than Slowbro naturally. So I'm going to blast him with a Banded U-turn and almost take him out from full, which would have been, or almost full, which would have been perfect. I really want to get that Slowbro out of the way. It's been doing a bunch of, it's just been causing a lot of problems for me. So switching to Escadrille, I really don't know why I didn't do that earlier. I could have gotten rocks off, just use my Vaporeon as fodder later. But he goes for Slack Off, which was not bad. I guess he does get that Wish. Never mind, I thought Wish didn't pass over if you knocked him out, but whatever. So I got the Rapid Spin off now, which I thought was kind of key for me, because I could take at least one Scald, and I can keep my Dragonite at full HP, so if I could try to set up, maybe try to get around any Scald Burns or Psychics if he wants to just do that. I'm not entirely sure what his plan is, but my plan here was to get rocks off, do Earthquake just to get a good chunk of damage off, and just go like right back out into Scizor after he knocks out my Excadrill, just because I knew at that point of it be where he's at. Judging by the damage I did before with that U-turn, I could probably knock him out just with one U-turn, which would have been beautiful, and then I could have came out into... I could have went out into my Dragonite and just got a weakness policy boost from that Pokemon. So, or from his Mamoswine, I'm sorry. So he does bring out Heliolisk. I'm gonna go straight for U-turn because it's the best play to do. He does know I would knock him out, so he does switch out for the Regenerator. Very good play. A very good play on Jack's part. I know he wants to keep that Slowbro alive because that's pretty much the only thing that could either seal a victory for him. So, sorry. I'm gonna go right out to Dragonite because I do have the weakness policy. I have my multi-scale intact still, and if he wants to go for a Psychic, I could just set up a +1, no problem, and just eat up that Psychic. So what I'm gonna do now is just set up that +1/+1 for speed and attack. Effectively, he's gonna go for Scald, hoping to get a burn. And I hope he doesn't get a burn, because that'd kind of be good for me, and kind of good for him, because he wants to get that residual damage. But I figured I just want to get Dragonite to do enough damage to Slowbro to the point where he would have to, he would get a one-hit KO'd, if not 2-hit KO'd by a Banded U-turn. So he does not get 2 burns even after 2 Scalds. He had a really good chance, but he doesn't get it yet. He does switch out because he knows another Dragon Claw would more than likely do a lot of damage to him. And I'm not going to go for a +2 or anything. I just want to stay at a good +1 right now. He brings out Mamoswine, which would have did a lot of damage to me, I must say. Gonna put a huge dent into both Pokemon with Ice Shard and Earthquake. But again, not entirely sure why he switched out, because again, I just want to keep Dragonite in. Regardless of whether or not he gets a burn, I just want to do as much damage as possible. Should have predicted the Slack Off here, went for a +2. Just so I could do more damage with Dragon Claw. Again, I don't have Outrage on this Dragonite yet, which would have been great. But at the same time, I don't really care. I'm just doing as much damage as I possibly can. He's gonna go for a Scald here, and then alas, he does get the burn, which does put a timer on my Dragonite, more so than just taking the Scalds normally. So he does have more of an advantage against Dragonite now, but knowing that I am burned and I am on a clock, I just want to do as much damage as possible. Do this slow bro, get it out of the way, or just set him up so my Pokemon can just come in and do a lot more damage, or Scizor, for example, should just come in and do a lot of damage with that. As long as I keep him at 75% health or lower, I should be able to do that to a KO. Still feeling a little bit cold, you know? But, I should have went for the +2, just knowing that he's going to keep slacking off and stalling me. I really don't know why I didn't, but really my mindset just right now is do as much damage as possible, get him out of the way, get this taken care of, get this little bulky little fucker just dead. Because he's in between me and victory right now, and it's really like 1 versus 1 at this point, because Dragonite is going to faint to this Psychic and take him out. So I really didn't get any weakness policy boosts or anything cool like that, because his team didn't really put me in that kind of situation. But, I mean, I'm at this point where it's Scizor versus Slowbro. If he does slack off, I will win. And if he Scalds or Psychics, I still win. I'm in that winning position right now, because I did a good chunk of damage. He does Scald me, he does also get the burn, but also, since he didn't recover, burned U-turn will still do 25% of the slow bro. So that abandoned and a burn, which essentially puts me at -1 attack, because burn halves my attack, and then abandon gives me a +1 boost in attack. So yeah, I don't know if the math there is correct, but it's whatever. But I go for that U-turn, and it was a narrow 1-0 victory for me. Good game, Jack. Good game. I played very well. You played exceptionally well. Sorry to knock you out of that tournament, but you were a very, very worthy adversary. So, Merry Christmas to you guys. Thank you for watching. We'll have some more Paper Mario uploads soon, if you guys are still wanting to watch that. And other than that, thanks for watching again. Just give me a like, give me some comments, give me some feedback, and I'll see you guys in the next episode or next Wi-Fi battle. Alright, peace out.